Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, intuitive astrologer, Reiki master, and empowerment coach. And I'm here today to talk about the Sagittarius full moon on June 14th, 2022 at 9:51 a.m. Pacific time. And for clarification, I do these videos based on whole sign Western astrology, going by your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, there are plenty of free natal chart calculators on the web. You just really need to know your time of birth because the moon moves very, very quickly. So you can get an approximation with the other planets without much of a problem, but some of these faster moving planets are going to make a difference. My sister had twins. They were born 11 minutes apart and it changed their rising sign. So that's super important. Let's talk a little bit about this Sagittarius full moon. It is a super full moon, which means it is closer to the earth, which makes its gravitational pull much stronger. We'll see the tides having more extremes. We will see waves being bigger in the ocean. We will also feel our bodies will feel a stronger gravitational pull as a result of this moon. And I think it's going to be in the area of our beliefs. Sagittarius rules foreign ideas, foreign concepts, higher education. It's very philosophical and philanthropic. It rules foreign people and foreign things. It rules justice, freedom, and truth. Freedom, truth, and justice, I think, are the themes of this particular full moon, as it is making a pretty harsh aspect known as a T-square to Neptune in Pisces at 25 degrees. So let me talk a little bit first about what a full moon is. A full moon is an opposition between the moon and the sun. And in doing so, it brings an illumination, a conclusion, a culmination of some kind as a result of a 6-month process that started with the new moon in Sagittarius last November. With this moon making a T-square. So this is the opposition and then two frictional energies coming towards the Neptunian energy. Neptune rules secrets. It rules deception and illusions. It rules the 12th house of hospitals, research, laboratories. And I say all of this because I believe that this is very powerful. There could be an illumination that is in some of these areas, meaning illuminations in how we are running these systems that the 12th house rules: hospitals, research, laboratories. I also think that it is going to bring up the potentials of having I feel a fiery energy. That's the way I want to say it, because we also have Mars and Chiron coming together in Aries. Mars has been transiting Aries. It had a conversation with Jupiter about a week ago. And then I believe Jupiter gave Mars the planet of truth and action. And as the peaceful warrior, it has its marching papers. So as Mars and Chiron come together at the 15th degree, which is the Geminian degree of our everyday lives, I think there's going to be an illumination of how we are. I don't know if it's I want to say, I want to offer it this way. I feel like there are systems in place that have not truly served balance for the human body, for the human happiness, for the human experience. And I believe with Jupiter's influence on this, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is transiting Aries for quite some time. And it feels like it's stoking this belief and the transformation of a belief. And I believe that is where we are all intricately responsible for our own empowerment so that we can empower others. So this idea of being inundated with fear-based data or fear-based marketing strategies, anything that feels a little bit like it's the 12th house where Neptune is residing in Pisces rules the bedroom. It's the last house before we go back into the collective. So the bedroom is where we sleep. When we sleep, we are able to get into a place where our personalities are no longer in a resistant energy. So we're more open to inspiration, into divine wisdom through our dream time. I have felt since I was in my 20s, I remember hearing that people would go crazy if they didn't sleep in 72 hours. And the spiritual side of me always thought to myself, well, that's because we're like whales. If we don't get into dream time, we don't connect with our inner being, which we don't connect with our higher selves, and then with our connection to the universe. And that's why we go loony, because we get too stuck in the human experience. I'm not trying to run off too far, but I feel as if the ruler of Sagittarius being in Aries, with this recent conversation to Mars, as Mars marches towards the wound that is carried within Aries. The United States has its Chiron in Aries. So Chiron is in transit at 15 degrees. When Chiron becomes at 20 degrees, it will be at its natal return for the United States. At the same time, the United States is going through its Pluto return. So Pluto right now is going backwards, retrograde in Capricorn. And then in October, it will start to go forward again. This is a time when much will be revealed about how we have inadvertently or otherwise disempowered the human experience. We have disempowered ourselves into a place where fear has become normal, where we are constantly vulnerable to a multitude of input that doesn't serve us. So our beliefs, the truth and justice is going to come to the surface. And this is not about the human experience, but that we are all souls inhabiting a human experience to walk through these illusions and then poke a hole in them so that we can become powerful co-creators within our own life. So I think this is super powerful. I think this is an opportunity to think about how you define your freedom, how you define what is justice, because mirroring injustice in the face of calling yourself just is not justice. One of the 12 laws of the universe, and I just did a video on that, is that all experiences and all things are neutral and that we assign meaning to them through our perceptions. So I feel like this is really an opportunity for all humans around the planet to start to look at what their truth is, how they purport justice towards themselves, which is how they'll purport justice out into the world. So if you're forgiving of yourself for your flaws, for the process of discovery, of knowing, of illumination, then you will be more compassionate and more empathetic with another's journey. And freedom. How do we define freedom? Because I think that humanity has run itself into the idea that finances produce freedom. But it's really our alignment energetically to what makes us happy that then kicks in the laws of attraction that then bring in those elements. And then we must, as humans, risk stepping into that vibration versus going back to what we're used to and what we call safe, that is actually based on something that doesn't serve our highest and greatest good. So I'm going to now go through each one of the houses, each one of the signs, and tell you what house this full moon is going to relate to. Houses in the astrology wheel are environments. It's like walking into a house, one room is the kitchen, one room is the living room, one room is the den, one room is the basement, one room is the bathroom, one room is the casita or the, the space over the garage. There's just, consider this a house with 12 rooms in it. So we're going to start with Sagittarius today because this is your moon. And the Libra in me lately has wanted to mix it up and not always start at Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, but I just kind of, I don't know, I require balance lately. So this is how I'm purporting it in my world. So Sagittarius, this is going to be in your first house. This full moon is going to illuminate things and I want to say deceptions, lies that maybe you've been telling yourself about how you're not powerful, about how, you may be feeling like there's a certain path that you must purport in order to be where you want to go. And I feel like this is really an opportunity to dig deeper into your beliefs, because Neptune also rules our beliefs, our spiritual beliefs. On its highest vibration, it's a very fluid energy in that it can traverse between what is unseen and what is seen. Again, this is the idea that Neptune and Pisces rule the bedroom, meditation, contemplative energy. So Sagittarius, this is an opportunity for you to really look at, are you designing, are you energetically, is your belief system aligned to your deepest truth? And I want to offer it this way because people, we are raised in a way that we inherit beliefs. We think they are our own beliefs, but I think this is really a time to re-examine those beliefs. And if indeed they have evolved into a new place, then it's time to allow yourself the privilege of birthing those into your physical experience. For my Capricorns, this is going to be in your 12th house. Sagittarius rules your 12th house. So I think this is going to bring up some things about structure, about how maybe you have been purporting energies in a way that you were expecting long-term rewards. And now you're going to find that maybe it's time to go in a new direction, to really bring up ideas, beliefs, and truths that are foreign to you. And I want to offer it this way because in the Capricorn energy, I've been feeling a strong sense of feeling loved in a different way, or feeling love in a way that can marry this sort of material earth stoic energy you have, and yet feel the warmth, the excitement, the exhilaration of what love has to offer in a connected energy. Capricorn rules leadership. It rules government and authority. So there may be dynamics and authority or places in your life where you have given life to authority that no longer really is aligned to your belief system. And this is going to come up through an illumination that kind of has a little bit maybe of a disappointment attached to it, I want to say. I almost dropped my crystal. I'm sorry. I say that because I think you may have been putting a lot of effort into something and you're starting to realize that it's not going to produce what you had hoped it will. But at the same time, the efforts that you've been putting in, when you move into a lane that supports a deeper belief of what you want, I think you're going to find that all the energy you had been putting into the other experience will start to capitalize on what is your hopes, your dreams, who is the person that when you're by yourself, what makes you happy? I always kind of think of the Pisces energy as the girl that's in her room with her guitar, writing songs, or her microphone, singing into the mirror, wishing someday she was going to be a star. And in that is where I'm going with this, Capricorn. Where do you want to feel that you can let your star shine and start to allow that new idea that feels so foreign to you, start to let whatever illuminations come up that might feel a little bit like, dang, I wish I knew that sooner. You know it in perfect timing, and let it be the platform for the next move. Okay, Aquarius. This is going to be Sagittarius is your 11th house. There's going to be illuminations in your activities and your networks, how you've been operating. I think of this as the internet, social media, large groups of people. And what you may find is that there's a sense of evolution that you have been experiencing, new thoughts, new ideas. You may even literally move yourself into a new location. I say that. I don't know why I want to say that. I'm just getting that intuitively. But I think this is going to be very powerful in the way that you think about your networks and how you now start to show up within those networks. I feel as if the square to Neptune may again be illuminating a place where you were hoping for something and it really didn't have the strong legs to support that. I feel as if there may have been a sense of alienation for Aquarius that made you feel, if I connect with these group of people, I will feel more connected. But maybe you were dumbing down that network. Maybe it really wasn't aligned to a deeper truth of who you want to be and what you want to experience. And I want to say this, if for some reason you have found that the T square to Neptune has brought up some lies that are outside of yourself, people in your network or people that people don't have to straight up lie to you to lie to you. They cannot tell you something and let you lead you to a conclusion that had you had an actual truth, you would have had another conclusion. So I feel like this might be just a little bit about really digging deeper into your own spiritual body, allowing Neptune to give you a spiritual inspiration that will reveal the gift or the reward that this illumination has brought to you. And I want to go back to November last year and say, Aquarius, where were you putting your efforts? Where were you putting what networks, what platforms? Because it may be that you thought one platform, one social media platform was going to work for you, and then you find it's not quite as palatable as you like, or the platform itself has grown a certain energy that you're not aligned to. And I think what we're going to see in not too short a period of time, new platforms popping up. We've got a Uranus heading towards Gemini. There are things being developed and that will be launched that will offer us new platforms to express ourselves on. And that might be something that you're going to want to look into. Okay, Pisces, this is going to be in your 10th house. Sagittarius is your 10th house of reputation, of the public eye, of how people see you, and how you see yourself in some ways within the public eye. Now we have that T square to Neptune. So there may be an opportunity for you to, Pisces Neptune is your natural ruler. And I feel as if when it comes to the Neptunian energy, I'm going to say this very lovingly, but I feel as if Pisces in this moment, they're asking you not to swim away from anything that has been illuminated in this full moon, but rather to embrace it so that it can shift your philosophy or anchor your philosophy, because you're an intuitive sign. So you may have been over these last few months, 6 months or so, thinking something's not working for me. Something in my work, public eye, how I'm being seen by others is not working for me. And I want to be more authentic in that dynamic, or I want to be more self-actualized. Maybe you're a little bit too cooperative, or you're too mutable in this energy. And while Sagittarius is a mutable energy, I think that it's adaptable because it's curious at a very philosophical, freedom-seeking, truth and justice level. So what is your truth? And are you aligned to your truth? And are you willing to, you don't have to speak your truth per se, but maybe this is a time to allow your philosophies to move in that direction. And then as you walk through your day, because, we all have a 10th house, but we are not all in the public eye, like being on television. Sometimes this public eye is like, how you're seen by the fellow moms at the school where your children go, or how you're seen in Zoom meetings throughout your company. There's a lot of ways this could play out. So I really want to offer Pisces an opportunity to think more intentionally about what makes you feel viable, what makes you feel just, what makes you feel free, and that you're living your truth. And then allow the universe to start to open doors for you to walk through that in a more solid way. Okay, Aries, Sagittarius is your 9th house. And, when it comes to Aries, I'm going to actually throw in the idea that Jupiter and Chiron and Mars are all in your 1st house. This is very powerful. Your beliefs are changing. And I'm an Aries rising, and I hope your beliefs are changing, that you are the peaceful warrior, that you are a spiritual energy on this planet, not to lob off the heads of those that are deceptive, but rather to seek the wisdom in the darkness so that you can purport the light and the balance that serves. Aries is a hero energy. And as you start to connect to that idea that a hero lies in you, and it's how you show up that reveals the hero, I think this is very much about starting to rewrite who and what you are to yourself. I think there's an illumination coming that is, I kind of want to say it this way. If you've been up your own grill for being too assertive, or if you've been told you're hostile and aggressive, because again, now we have your ruling planet coming up against the transiting Mars is coming up against transiting Chiron. And Chiron rules the wound that we brought into this earth to pay attention to. I think the North and South node axis and Chiron within the birth chart very much reveal a soul's intention on what imbalance I want to work on, what imbalance I want to address to bring more balance. So when this is in your 9th house, this is going to be how you are, what are you believing in yourself, and how are you purporting your freedom? Because if it's in a sort of, I don't care about you way, I'm going to just go do me, then you're not really serving yourself. And I think that this is going to bring up, this full moon is going to illuminate that your way of being isn't serving you. And I don't think it's about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think it's the integration of being able to sort of take the idea of, do I want to be right, or do I want to be happy? And if I want to be happy, then how I express myself is important so that people can connect to my beliefs in a way that represents me more succinctly, more authentically. And because Aries is the pioneer, you kind of have this feeling like, I need to go alone. That's how I, the hero doesn't go in to the fire. The fireman doesn't run in. I mean, yes, there may be a team of firemen, but you're by yourself in all that smoke, in all that heat. So I think this is really about starting to think that you have people that can be aligned to you. And as you shift those beliefs, then you serve a bigger purpose to integrate how your wound becomes a gift, and how your ruling planet coming up against this dynamic all at the same time when Jupiter is sitting in this house, you can really find yourself expanding your wealth, your material wealth, and capitalizing on this. It's almost as if you will look at this wound and you will be grateful and blessed by it as you allow your beliefs to shift, to align into something more that represents that peaceful warrior. That's the way I want to put it. Okay, Taurus. Sagittarius is your 8th house. So there's going to be a great transformation going on here. And again, that we have this T square to Neptune. Neptune is representing somewhere there's been secrets. There's been, I almost feel like they're lies of omission. People don't directly lie, but they just don't tell you something. And I think for Taurus, while you're a fixed sign and you have the North Node transiting and you have Uranus and Venus transiting you right now, I think on the 11th, a few days before the full moon, Venus and Uranus are going to be conjunct. So the very unexpected things could happen that transform the way you believe about yourself. Now, I want to offer this too, because the 8th house is a house of sex. It's the house of intimacy that is so deep and rich. You know, naturally Scorpio rules the 8th house. In this instance, being Sagittarius, you may find yourself thinking there's something different going on in how I perceive my commingling of my body, my commingling of my resources, and being able to stand in a trust and an inner knowing and seeing sort of this spiritual opportunity coming for you to get out of a stubborn energy of feeling unsure and insecure. Naturally, Taurus rules the 2nd house, which rules money, which rules security, which inadvertently rules insecurity. And it also rules our history in life, our family history, how we process that. So I think there's a great transformation being offered to you as you dig deeper for the spiritual dynamics of anything that is divinely disrupting what's going on right now, because it's opening a pathway for you to experience something so much more joyous and exciting. And with this full moon being a super moon, it's really there's going to be a very strong pull to be, the moon is exalted in Taurus. So I can't help but think that the moon always has some sort of effect on you. Anytime a planet is exalted in an energy, it feels like it's naturally there's a kinship there. So with this being in your 8th house of Sagittarius, as you give life to the idea that any shifting, any going into a foreign area, a foreign place you haven't been, is serving a bigger picture for your happiness. And the culmination of this cycle of sort of thinking, I need to protect myself, or I need to make sure I'm materially secure. When you're aligned philosophically from your belief system, from your intuitive body, that's where the real security lies. And that's how you start to draw in the resources you need to validate that. Okay, Gemini, this is going to be in your 7th house of partnerships. There could be a complete reversal in what you think about your partners. There could potentially be the ending of a relationship with this. Not everybody's going to find that. It could be both professionally as well as personally, or it could be the end of a belief of dependency in some ways. Gemini rules the twins, and Sagittarius rules higher minded thinking. So there could be some sort of illumination, a very strong pull that maybe within your partnerships, you have been purporting a line of thought that has been contributing to any illusions that you may have had. And the illusion of loss could be one of them, the illusion of something that feels fleeting. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury moves very quickly, and so does a Gemini mercurial energy. And on some level, Gemini rules trickery, the trickster. So you may have been feeling very tense, and now you're adopting a much bigger philosophical dynamic of your power and strength within partnerships. And as you allow that illumination through this dynamic of this T-square, really pointing at where you may be contributing, because you are allowing yourself to feel disempowered. Your what ifs are getting in the way, or your fears have been eclipsing the power you have within. I think this Sagittarius full moon will bring an end to that and allow you to move into foreign dynamics that let your philosophical musings, I almost want to say, because they don't feel anchored at all, become more anchored, and therefore giving you a new point of attraction in creating relationships. Cancer, this is in your 6th house of work, of health, of pets. So you may start to really contemplate moving in directions that make you feel more aligned to your service, and when I say service, I want to offer it this way, because Neptune rules hospitals and research, and Cancer is so intuitive. So this may really reveal how you're nurturing your body and how you are perceiving outside influences in relation to that. And you may make some choices to start to trust an intuitive knowing on your nurturing. And I'm really kind of heading towards your health here. When I think about Neptune ruling hospitals, ruling research, I think about, drug researching and, all the trials and all those kind of things. So you may start to recalibrate how you perceive that. You may start to take yourself into new areas. You may start to adapt a more holistic way of approaching things, or an integrative way of approaching things. But I think it's going to be very powerful. And I want to say this, Cancer, you are a very intuitive sign, but you're also ruled by the crab. So sometimes, you may kind of feel like this back and forth and this unsuredness. I feel as if this Sagittarius full moon is going to reveal something that will give you a sense of assuredness within your trust, that when you get a little bubble of, I need to take a pause, I need to allow the universe to confirm or deny my intuition about this situation and how I'm treating my body. I'm going to just quickly tell you a story. A few years ago, I had an abscess in my mouth, and I'd had one before, and they seemed to be coming up wherever there was a fake tooth, wherever I've had a cap put up. And I just was resistant to go to the dentist. This was during COVID. My dentist had retired, so I would have to find a new dentist. And I personally sought out the medical medium. He happened to have a protocol for a tooth abscess, and I followed it. I didn't follow it well. I wasn't strict because I don't do that very well. But I was tenacious in saying, okay, I may not have been good yesterday, but I'll be good today. And after about 2 years, it went away. And I went through a large series of, not only how was I feeding my body, but what was I doing energetically about my belief in my body's ability to course correct. And I went into meditations that supported that. So I believe that there's going to be something involving Cancer, your health, and being more empowered as you trust a deeper truth and feel a sense of freedom within your own intuition, knowing that that is divinity within you, inspiring you to action. And that action may start with thought and research. Okay, let's go into Leo. Sagittarius is your 5th house of romance, personal expression, joy, entertainment, children. I think this is very powerful. We see some dynamics going on within the United States that are focused on fertility, focused on a person's rights, focused on children. And I think this is going to really allow you as a Leo rules the zodiac, the sun rules the zodiac, to take whatever this Sagittarius full moon has to illuminate for you and sort of give you a whole new perception of it. And while I am very strongly connected to the idea of the child, I also want to think that this again starts with you and your own personal view of your value and trusting your heart chakra. There's a sense of, with Saturn having been opposing you, Saturn being in Aquarius, the transiting Saturn, there's this feeling of feeling like a blanket's been put on me. Some of you may even be going through a Saturn return, or not a Saturn return, but a Saturn opposition. It would be an opposition. What am I talking about? on your personal planets like Venus, or if you're a Leo that has multiple planets in that first house, you may be just feeling this repression. And I think that this is not about you being pulled under as much as it's asking you to really dig down into maybe where you're being a little fixed in how you're viewing your heart being filled, and if you are contributing on some level to the feeling of it not happening. And now I want you to start to think of Saturn as Coach Boone. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go check out my Saturn retrograde video, because I think I do a pretty darn good job of describing the Saturnian energy and how you can use it to your advantage. Because I think this is very important for Leo to put yourself in the idea that Sagittarius is taking you into a new direction when you think about how you are nurturing your own heart, how you're nurturing and how you're taking care of your wants and desires. And if on some level you are saying that when conditions change on the outside, I can feel better. When if you connect with the philosophical, the bigger concepts, Sagittarius represents the connection to the angelic realm. So when you can see the divinity in your discomfort, that you may be inadvertently saying, when conditions change, I will feel better. And now you're willing to flip the script and say that to be just and fair to myself, the truth is when I start to focus on what makes me feel better, conditions outside change. This is super important for you, Leo. And I think when you start to implement that, you're going to feel a sense of relief and a sense of gratitude for this challenging time when you've been feeling this opposition to Saturn. Okay, Virgo, this Sagittarius full moon is in your fourth house of home. The fourth house represents nurturing. It represents our family. It represents property. Represents the ocean. Now we take the idea of Virgo representing processes. Virgo, it differs from Gemini. Gemini likes to persuade, uses conversation, whereas Virgo uses process, analyzing things and detail to present itself and to present its value. So I want to offer the idea that when you go through this illumination, whatever this full moon is bringing into your energy field, it's there to, I think, maybe validate you. I know it's going to sound kind of funny because most people think of a full moon as an ending, but I think that there's something about this where you're starting to feel the truth of your value, and where you're starting to feel a sense of others valuing you. I am totally getting this intuitively right now. I feel like this is about the fourth house of self-nurturing. And as you nurture yourself, you feel the gratitude of your service to others. And this is taking you into a whole foreign area because you're not used to feeling grateful, or not feeling grateful, but feeling gratitude for what you bring to the table. This is what I'm trying to say. I feel like there's something about Virgo being able to be like, wow, people really are enjoying what I do, or what I'm birthing, or how I'm being of service. So I think this is really important for you. And I feel like the challenge may be in this T-square to Neptune is being able to take it in, to really feel the spiritual dynamic of your service and know on a deep level that regardless of your service, you're still valuable. Let's go to our Libras. This is in your third house of teammate, workmates, everyday activities and short trips. I'm sorry, real quick, I'm being like distracted by some big construction noise outside. So let me start again. Third house for Libra is Sagittarius. So I think that there's going to be an opportunity for you to have an illumination and to feel more complete as you start a whole new idea of how you work in cooperation with others. Libra is by nature a partnership sign. It is cooperative. It wants to purport harmony and peace. And sometimes it will do that to its own detriment. It will be like, I'm not going to say that because, I don't want to confront that. I don't want to make them feel bad. So I think that there's going to be an opportunity, third house rules communication, for you to take the Sagittarian energy and to whatever happened about 6 months ago and how you were communicating. And this is also your self-talk. It's not just how you communicate with others, because Gemini rules the third house naturally, and that's our self-talk. It's the monkey mind. It's the part of our mind that says you won't win, you're not valuable. It's the part that doesn't serve us, except to purport balance when we say, I don't know if I believe you. So I think this is what's going on for Libra right now, is an opportunity to really look at how you're purporting your own sense of freedom, truth, and justice, making sure you're in the mix and not acquiescing too much to the team in a way that is starting to create resentment or disharmony. And I want to offer this too, because Neptune, can rule secrets. And sometimes people will tell you that they didn't tell you things because they don't want to hurt your feelings. And I think that if for some reason Libra experiences people sort of keeping information to themselves and then they're claiming that they did that to protect you, I think this is an opportunity for you to assess whether or not you feel protected by that energy, or you feel like you would have liked to have your own choice in the matter. I don't know why this is coming through like this, but I feel like this Neptune in Pisces is giving you an opportunity to take, it's a T-square. So if you didn't listen to the beginning of the video, the full moon in Sagittarius is making a T-square, which is a focal point, okay, of a friction. And that friction is illusion, deception, where I'm kidding myself, where somebody else is kidding me. So if indeed you find that your intuitive body was hoping that you were wrong about something, and then you find out that you were right, or you were, somebody withheld information, and this makes you feel somehow off, it doesn't feel just and doesn't feel like it's giving you freedom within the relationship or within the team, then I feel like this is a time for you to really start to connect with the idea that Sagittarius rules the angelic realm. I think it's time to connect to where is the divinity in this disruption, and then help me to start to recalibrate and move forward in a more authentic way that puts me in the equation in a way that people trust how I will process information. And finally, Scorpio, this is in your second house. Sagittarius is your second house. Second house by nature rules self-worth. It rules my family history. It rules my possessions, beauty, my voice, how I speak. And I want to offer this because as we walk through this, this full moon, there may be an illumination and a dynamic where Scorpio has been, how can I phrase this? I feel a little bit like there's a sense of disappointment attached to this full moon. And I want to offer it like Scorpio was really trying very hard to go into new ideas and new concepts at the new moon in Sagittarius. And maybe on some level, you find yourself in the same place. And the only illumination that's come about is there's been no movement into a foreign area, a new place, somewhere where you want to experience something new. So I want to offer it this way, because your ruling planet, Pluto, is making a sextile to Neptune, and Neptune is making a T-square to this Sagittarius full moon. So this may be an opportunity for you, Scorpio, to really look at where you've been commingling yourself in the way of your value, how you perceive yourself, how you're receiving your value. And if on some level, you had kind of hoped that things would work out, and you find out, or you would start to see your value come through others, come through how people are perceiving you. And Pluto's kind of bouncing that around saying, you know what, I'm going to ask you again, what are you pretending not to know about your value? Are you standing in your value, or are you giving it away? Scorpio naturally rules power and control. And, sometimes we control through a lack of control or a lack of power. And I feel like this particular full moon in Sagittarius is offering you, Scorpio, to really connect with your emotional body, because this is going to really you're going to feel this. You're a very deep, intuitive sign. And people don't always acknowledge that, because the intuition comes from a bit of suspicion. You nurture that energy of your intuition because there is other people that Scorpio rules criminal behavior. So when it's on its challenging side, it can be rather dark. But on the lighter side, it is rich within its transformation. It is, to me, one of the most powerful, beautiful signs, because Pluto is really my friend. Pluto may look like it's trying to murder things in my life and kill things, but it's all the lies. It's the lies that I'm not powerful, the lies that I'm not lovable, the lies that the person I've been pursuing or the interests I've been pursuing or what I've been speaking hasn't served me and the truth of what I really want. And so now is the time to allow for this illumination so that you can use Pluto's sextile to Neptune and capitalize on that favorable energy. Because Pluto is not really playing anymore. Pluto's kind of saying in Capricorn, whatever structures aren't working, they need to die. They need to go through the demolition and be renovated so that they can be the butterfly. So this is a very, very powerful moon. It has there's some other transits happening in addition to this that are going to support the higher vibrations of this full moon. I want to say that while people call them culminations, I think they're illuminations that help us plant the seeds for the next chapter. So that's what I have to say for the Sagittarius full moon. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, intuitive astrologer, Reiki master, and empowerment coach. If you'd like to book a session with me, my information is below. And be sure to check out the Saturn video, because I think that is going to really help you. It's a long influence until October, and it is going through Aquarius. So it is, there's a sense of freedom attached to it, which goes along with the idea of the Sagittarius moon representing freedom, justice, and truth. And as we take these next few months, and Sagittarius, there will be a new moon in November. So there's another reason why I bring up the Saturn energy, because the coach boon idea of working hard, but having this really big goal at the end and knowing that the universe is supporting it, you'll start to see your momentum grow. And this will be really groundbreaking for those around you. So this is very powerful. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Peace out.